Have you ever wondered how atoms stick together to form the amazing diversity of life we see around us? The answer lies in the fascinating world of chemical bonds. These bonds are the glue that holds atoms together, allowing them to form molecules which in turn build cells, tissues, organs, and ultimately entire organisms. Just like we form bonds with friends and family, atoms form bonds to become more stable. These bonds involve the sharing or transferring of tiny particles called electrons. These electrons reside in specific regions around the atom's nucleus called electron shells. Atoms are most stable when their outermost electron shell is full. This drive for stability is what drives the formation of chemical bonds. From the water we drink to the proteins that make up our muscles, chemical bonds are the fundamental forces that underpin all biological processes. In the world of chemistry, carbon stands out as a true superstar. This tiny atom, with its atomic number 6, possesses a unique ability to form a mind-boggling array of molecules, making it the backbone of all life on Earth. Carbon has 4 valence electrons, meaning it has 4 electrons in its outermost shell available for bonding. This gives carbon the remarkable ability to form 4 covalent bonds with other atoms, including other carbon atoms. This versatility allows carbon to form long chains, branched structures, and even rings, creating a vast repertoire of organic molecules. From the simple methane molecule to the complex DNA that carries our genetic information, carbon's ability to form diverse structures is what makes life as we know it possible. So, next time you encounter a living organism, remember the tiny carbon atom, the unsung hero holding it all together. To truly grasp the concept of chemical bonding, we need to delve into the microscopic world of atoms and their electrons. Electrons, those negatively charged particles, don't just zip around the atom's nucleus randomly. They occupy specific regions called electron orbitals. Each orbital can hold a maximum of 2 electrons, and they're arranged in energy levels or shells. The outermost shell, called the valence shell, is where the chemical action takes place. Atoms strive to have a full valence shell, which typically means having 8 electrons. This is the driving force behind the OctetRule, which states that atoms tend to gain, lose, or share electrons to achieve a stable configuration of 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Just like hotels are most stable when they're fully booked, atoms are most stable when their valence shell is full, satisfying the OctetRule. Now that we understand the octet rule and the importance of valence electrons, let's introduce a handy tool for visualizing chemical bonding: Lewis dot structures. Developed by American chemist Gilbert N. Lewis, these diagrams provide a simple yet powerful way to represent the valence electrons of atoms and the bonds they form. In a Lewis dot structure, the chemical symbol of an element represents the atom's nucleus and inner electrons. The valence electrons are then depicted as dots surrounding the symbol. For example, carbon, with its 4 valence electrons, is represented as C. Lewis dot structures provide a clear and concise way to visualize how atoms share electrons to achieve a stable octet. They are an invaluable tool for understanding the basics of chemical bonding, making them a cornerstone of chemistry education. Section 5, the octet rule in action: examples of covalent bonding. Let's see the octet rule in action with a simple example. Methane CH4. Carbon, with its 4 valence electrons, needs 4 more to achieve an octet. Each hydrogen atom with 1 valence electron needs 1 more. By sharing electrons through covalent bonds, each atom in methane achieves a stable electron configuration. Carbon effectively gains 4 electrons, completing its octet, while each hydrogen effectively gains 1 electron, achieving a stable duet. Let's look at some more examples. Oxygen, O2, carbon dioxide, CO2, and nitrogen, N2. In an oxygen molecule, O2 2 oxygen atoms share 2 pairs of electrons, forming a double bond. In carbon dioxide, CO2, carbon forms double bonds with each oxygen atom, sharing 2 pairs of electrons with each. In a nitrogen molecule, N2 2 nitrogen atoms share 3 pairs of electrons, forming a triple bond, one of the strongest in chemistry. These examples illustrate how atoms can share electrons to achieve a stable octet, forming covalent bonds that hold molecules together. Section 6. Polar versus non-polar covalent bonds, sharing electrons equally or not. In a perfect world, atoms sharing electrons in a covalent bond would always share them equally. However, in reality, electron sharing can be uneven, leading to polar covalent bonds. Electronegativity, the atom's ability to attract electrons towards itself, plays a crucial role in determining bond polarity. When two atoms with different electronegativities form a covalent bond, the shared electrons are pulled more strongly towards the more electronegative atom. This creates a separation of charge within the molecule, with the more electronegative atom having a partial negative charge, or delta minus, and the less electronegative atom having a partial positive charge, or delta plus. Water H2O is a classic example of a polar molecule. In contrast, non-polar covalent bonds occur when atoms with similar electronegativities share electrons relatively equally. The polarity of covalent bonds has significant implications for the properties of molecules, influencing their solubility, boiling points, and interactions with other molecules. Section 7. Ionic bonds, when atoms give and take electrons. While covalent bonds involve the sharing of electrons, ionic bonds arise from the complete transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to another. This transfer creates ions, atoms that carry an electrical charge. Consider sodium chloride, common table salt. Sodium, eager to achieve an octet, readily donates its lone valence electron to chlorine. This transfer results in the formation of a positively charged sodium ion and a negatively charged chloride ion. The electrostatic attraction between these oppositely charged ions forms the basis of the ionic bond. The formation of ionic bonds often leads to dramatic changes in the properties of the constituent atoms. Section 8. Hydrogen bonds, weak bonds with a strong influence. In addition to covalent and ionic bonds, a third type of bond, the hydrogen bond, plays a crucial role in shaping the structure and properties of many biological molecules. Hydrogen bonds are weak electrostatic attractions between a hydrogen atom covalently bonded to a highly electronegative atom such as oxygen or nitrogen, and an electron pair in the adjacent molecule. Despite their weakness, hydrogen bonds are essential for life. They are responsible for the unique properties of water, including its high boiling point, surface tension, and ability to dissolve many substances. Hydrogen bonds also play a vital role in determining the three-dimensional structures of proteins and nucleic acids like DNA, holding these complex molecules in their intricate shapes, which are essential for their biological functions. Section 9. The strength of bonds, from covalent to hydrogen bonds. Chemical bonds vary in strength, and this variation is crucial for understanding the behavior of molecules in biological systems. Covalent bonds, involving the sharing of electrons, are generally the strongest type of bond. Among covalent bonds, triple bonds, like those found in nitrogen gas, are the strongest, followed by double bonds and then single bonds. The strength of covalent bonds ensures the stability of molecules and their resistance to breaking apart. Ionic bonds, formed by the electrostatic attraction between oppositely charged ions, are also relatively strong, particularly in solid crystals. However, ionic bonds are weaker in polar solvents like water, which can surround and solvate the ions, reducing their attraction. Hydrogen bonds, being weak electrostatic attractions, are the weakest of the three types of bonds discussed. In conclusion, understanding chemical bonds is fundamental to unraveling the complexities of the molecular world and the very essence of life itself. From the strong covalent bonds holding atoms together in molecules to the weak but essential hydrogen bonds influencing the properties of water and the structures of biomolecules, chemical bonds are the invisible forces that govern the interactions of atoms and molecules. We explored the OctetRule, a guiding principle for understanding how atoms strive to achieve a stable electron configuration, and learned how to visualize bonding patterns using Lewis dot structures. We delved into the differences between polar and non-polar covalent bonds, discovering how electronegativity influences electron sharing. As we continue to explore the molecular world, our understanding of chemical bonds will undoubtedly deepen, revealing even more secrets about the intricate and elegant chemistry that makes life possible.